I used to struggle a lot with social anxiety, and whenever I wanted to have a conversation with someone, my hands would start shaking, and I kept on thinking, what if I just run out of things to say, or what if my mind goes blank, or what if I embarrass myself and there's this long, awkward silence. So these things sort of kept me away from having conversations with people, and in return I was not able to make new friends, and I kept on getting lonely day by day, and I just hated it. So to tackle this problem, I watched as many videos as I can on YouTube, and I tried my best to read the best books on this topic. And later on, after I started using these lessons from videos and books, I was able to start having new conversations. My confidence grew with each conversation, and I was also able to make new friends. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you 3 effective conversation tips that help me to improve my conversations and also to keep conversations going so that I don't run out of things to say, and also 3 conversation starters to help you break the ice and start a conversation with anyone. But first, we need to fix a very crucial thing that's holding us back from having this conversation, and that's our mindset. Now, the reason that it's so hard for us to have conversations with other people is because we overthink a lot before the conversation. We create these different limiting beliefs, and by believing in these limiting beliefs, we create this false identity of ourselves, of a person that's really bad at having conversations. And these limiting beliefs sort of act as a barrier between us having a conversation with another person. And if you keep on having these limiting beliefs in your head, then they're gonna keep on influencing your future decisions. So first of all, you need to take out these limiting beliefs. Take a pen and paper and write down the different limiting beliefs that you have with having a conversation with another person. And then what you need to do is analyze these things and figure out, why do you believe in them? Do you actually have proof to back up these beliefs? And try to remind yourself of past conversations that you had with other people and friends you made, and try to challenge these limiting beliefs and break them. Soon you'll realize that a lot of these limiting beliefs that we have are just pointless, and you can easily break them by challenging them. You can remind yourself of past conversations like proof of actually you having conversations with other people and making new friends. And even if you don't have a lot of proof, then you can slowly expose yourself to new conversations and challenge and break these limiting beliefs. Now, let's say that you are afraid people might judge you. First of all, remind yourself that people are more focused on themselves. They are more focused on their problems. They are more focused on their life. And another thing about people is that people love talking about themselves. So instead of focusing your attention inward and overthinking, focus your attention outward towards the other people and be a really good listener and a really good observer. Ask people questions that get them to talk about themselves. Now, to challenge these other remaining limiting beliefs, you have to slowly start exposing yourself to conversations. Now, you don't have to first of all start a very big conversation. You can first of all start small. It doesn't have to even be a conversation. You can first smile and nod at people. Then you can slowly start greeting them. Say something like, hey, have a great day. Then you can slowly start going into compliments. Just say a compliment and then you can just walk by. And slowly after that, you can have these smaller conversations, right? It doesn't have to be a very big conversation where you talk for a lot of minutes. You can just start for like a few seconds or a minute. Okay, you can have a small conversation, and then you can slowly start increasing it over time as you gain confidence and as you get better at it. But if you don't know how to break the ice and start a conversation, here are 3 types of conversation starters. Now, the first type of conversation starter is the observational question. You can just observe some sort of random object and then ask a question related to that. For example, let's say that you are sitting on a bench, and there's a person on the other side, and what you can do is that just observe what the other person is doing. Maybe this person has a book in his hand, so you can say, hey, I love that book, what made you decide to read it? Or maybe a dog walks by, you can ask him, hey, what do you think that dog breed is? You can also add in compliments as well to this observational question. First of all, you can observe something and then compliment that person and then ask a question. For example, hey, that's a cool tattoo, what's the story behind it? Or hey, that's a cool jacket, where did you get it? Or maybe like, hey, that's a really cool hairstyle, or where did you get it, or what is it called? Now, the next type of conversation starter is the situational question. This can be a question based on a similar situation that you and the other person is in. For example, the train seems to be late, how long have you been here? Or this event is amazing, what brought you here? Let's say that you guys are watching a game and there's like a stranger near you. You can say, hey, what a great game, how long have you been a fan of the team? Now, the next type of conversation starter is the locational question. This is the type of questions that you can ask based on a specific location that you're in. For example, hey, are there any good coffee shops around here? Or it's my first time here. What are some of the best places that I can visit in this city? Or it can also be like, hey, this place has great atmosphere. What brings you here? Alright, now let's move on to the 3 effective tips that can help you to improve your conversations and keep them going so that you don't run out of things to say. Now, a very big problem that we can face is these awkward silent moments, and this usually happens when the other person gives a very short answer, maybe like a yes or no, or like a very short answer. And the reason that they give short answers is because we ask them close-ended questions. For example, what time is it? Or did you like the movie? Or did you like that book? So instead of asking them close-ended questions, you need to ask them open-ended questions. These are the type of questions that can often lead to deep conversations. They'll have to explain more things. So to ask open-ended questions, you can add in words like why or how, because these type of questions get them to explain more things. Now here are some more examples that can help you to understand this. For example, why did you decide to choose this career path? How did you get involved in that hobby? Can you explain how that works? Also, when another person asks you a question, try not to give these short answers. Just do them a favor and add in more words, because when you add in more words, you give them more words to play with, right? It becomes a lot easier for them to ask better questions, and these better questions can often lead to longer and better conversations. Now, one of the things that I didn't really like about my conversation style back then was that I used to ask so many questions. I kept on asking question after question, and it sort of made me feel like I was an interviewer, and I really didn't like it. So here are some ways that help me to tackle this problem. For example, after you ask a question from another person and that person gives an answer, instead of asking a question, you can do things such as you can share your thoughts about it, you can share a personal experience, you can share a related story, you can share what you know or learned about it, or you can add in some humor and like make a joke. Now, another tip that can help you in situations where you run out of things to say is before you leave the house, try to watch the news or scroll on Twitter, which is known as X right now. You can scroll on that and try to find out what are the different things that are happening in the world. And let's say that you run out of something to say, then you can bring that topic. You can say, hey, did you know this happened? Hey, did you know this thing is happening right now? Now, there's a very big mistake that some of us might be doing in conversations that make us feel great, but makes the other person feel very frustrated and might get very annoyed when you keep on doing this. And that's usually when you shine the spotlight only on yourself. You just talk about yourself, you boast about your achievements. When the other person tries to say something very important about their lives, you try to turn it around and take it as an opportunity to talk about your life and talk about yourself. So just imagine you are in a conversation with such a person. You are going to get very bored and annoyed and frustrated, right? So instead of doing that, try to shine the spotlight on the other person. Get them to talk about themselves, because people like to talk about themselves because it feels great. Most of the time, people can't remember what you said to them. They remember how you made them feel. So make them feel great. Just let them talk about themselves. Ask questions that get them to talk about their interests, their passions, their hobbies, and different other things that gets them excited. So let them talk about these things and validate their ideas and make them feel great. But remember not to overdo this, because it can often come out as flattery. So try to have a balance between that. Now, here are some questions that can help you to find out what excites this other person. What are you currently working on that excites you? How do you spend most of your time these days? What are you looking forward to this year? Now, here's another very powerful tip that can help you to get other people to like you more in conversations. Now, the thing is that people like people who are like them. So what you need to do is try to talk about the common interests that you have. Try to talk about the common ideas that you have. Try to talk about the common hobbies and passions that you have. Talk about similar experiences or struggles that you have. What you do by doing this is that you make the other person think, oh, this person is just like me and this person understands me. But remember not to like overdo this, because it can sort of become awkward. So try to have a balance with this as well. By the way, if you're interested in learning how to make new friends and build a powerful network on social media, make sure to go ahead and check out this video.